Hi guys, it's Ray. Today we are going to do just a basic glittered Christmas ornament that you can then decorate however you want, but it's that time of year where people are getting into the Christmas season and starting to work on stock. So I'm going to show you how I glitter my Christmas ornaments. I use the Minwax polycrylic. I do not believe Home Depot sells this anymore. They have switched to Varathane. I do believe Walmart still sells it. I haven't used a Varathane polycrylic yet. I do believe they make one though. I use the clear semi-gloss. So that's what I use. I pour it into one of these squirt bottles. And it doesn't dry out in here year to year. I've been refilling this squirt bottle for, I'm going to say this is the 4th season on this particular bottle. So I'm going to open it up. And I'm just dropping you. Sorry about that. I do have a little funnel I use. And I just pour a bunch in. Now I will leave my polycrylic open because it's easier to pour back into the can than into the bottle. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. I don't clean my funnel, I just set it somewhere and let it drip dry. So I'll just put that out of the way. I'll put the lid out of the way. Put the top back on. So, squirty ketchup bottle, condiment bottle makes it easier. These all happen to be plastic. You can use glass. I just don't have any non-colored glass in stock. So, these are plastic ones that I've done before that I never used. So, this is what you're going to get. And these you could decal however you wanted. Baby's First Christmas 2020, whatever. So, start by removing your caps. You can buy these as singles at craft stores, or you can buy big containers. But remove your lids and keep them somewhere so you know where they're at. I'm not going to get to the point where I put the lids back on today, but I pull the tabs up so they're almost out and set it back on, and then I got something going on here. My tab's not in the inside. Okay. But pull it up, get your top back on tight, and then super fast push it in. That way it won't scratch the sides and damage the glitter. You may still occasionally find a little damage, but hopefully not too bad. So you'll need glitters, whatever colors you want. I'm going to do one of the disc style in this color, one in this color, and two in this color. I have 3 bottles of this color, but I don't. I stocked up on it when AC Moore was going out of business. So, I'm going to work from just one bottle because I don't want to mix colors. I don't know why this will not stay in place. It's driving me nuts. Probably you as well. And then I'm going to do the 2 round ones in white because I don't really have a plan for them yet, so I don't want to do a specific color. So you're going to need cups for them to sit in and dry. For the disc ones, I use a little bit bigger of a cup, and I kind of push it down in. And for the smaller round ones, a small cup will work just fine. I'm going to move my glitters out of the way a moment. I'm also going to need just a couple of pieces of plain white paper. And the paper I am just going to cut into a little bit of a square. And those I am going to use just to make a quick funnel for the glitter. And I'll use a different square for each color so I don't contaminate them. So let me get started. I'm going to squirt a fair amount because you're not going to waste it. So you're better off having too much. But squirt a fair amount in. I do keep a baby wipe handy because I'm going to cover the hole with my thumb and I will get a little bit of the poly on my thumb. And just roll it around until you get towards the edge. And then you are going to have to tip it a bit to mix it around. But look at it and make sure you have full coverage. Now at this point you can either dump this back into the container or go ahead and pour it into another ornament if you're confident in pouring the bulk of it. So I'm going to set that one in there for a moment. And then I will just tip it on top of a cup and let it drain. If you skip the draining part and you go straight to glitter, you will have problems. It will clump up and fall off the side. So you'll have big bare spots. So, and you do want to wipe your thumb off in between because otherwise you'll start getting the poly on the outside. And it will wipe off somewhat, but it's best not to get it there in the first place. So I'm going to grab one of the bigger cups. I'm going to go ahead and pour again. And I'm not going to worry about, it'll have little bubbles, but they'll work themselves out as it drains. So I'm going to misshape the cup because I want it draining straight down. So that's what I did there. And I will typically fill 10 to 12 of these before I start the glitter process. Usually by the time I've gotten to 12, the first one's ready for glitter. But I'm only going to do 6 today. So I'm going to pour that in again, most of the excess without dripping. Grab another one of the cups, set this one down, and again, jam it down in so it's face down. And these will end up taking up quite a bit of space. That's why I'm only doing 6 right now, because I'm working in a limited space. But I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'm going to separate these cups out before I go any further. Again, make sure you secure the top before you flip it so you don't end up with a huge mess. And again, I'm just wiping my thumb off on a baby wipe in between so I don't pass poly ornament to ornament. And again, I'm just going to push it down in the cup so it can drain. You'll know they're drained enough when they're not dripping a ton. But I'm just swirling it around, making sure I have full coverage. And the poly will look more white at first when you first apply it, than after it's dripped for a little bit. And I'm going to pour it into this last one. And I think I started with enough to fill all of them. And I'll show you the bottom of the cup so you can see how much is dripping out. But if you skip that drip step, you're going to have major issues with clumping, and the glitter will actually, like, if you have too much here, the glitter will actually pull away and drop off. So that's why this draining step is critical. So I'm on the last one, so I will just pour that excess back into the can before I set it in the cup to drip. And I'm not going to cover my can yet, because if I have a lot that's dripped out in any of these cups, I will continue to save that. I will continue to save it and reuse it. And just make sure you seal up this container, because we're done with that now. But you can see how much is dripping out from these. And that's what you want. You'll know it's ready when it's done dripping. But typically 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm just going to wipe that little bit of poly off of there. So I'm also going to work over a piece of paper for the glitter process. This is the first one, and it looks pretty good. It's still got a couple drips coming, but it's not too bad. This is just going to be the glitter process of these. I'm going to come back in with a couple of different videos of a couple of different styles of ornament that sells fairly well in retail. Ones that I do year after year after year. But I'm going to go ahead and start glittering. So there's no pooling, there's no dripping, so it should be pretty good and ready to go. And these, like I said, I will drain back into the container. So, as I said, I'm going to do these ones in white. I'm actually going to start with clean cups for the glitter, because you can see where it dripped a little on the edge here. You don't want to flip your ornament back into that. That just won't give you a good result. Let me go grab a couple more of the bigger cups. Okay. So, like I said, I'm just going to do these in white. And for this, I am going to open the caps all the way. I'm not going to try and sprinkle. So I'm just going to pour way more than I would need. To do the funnel. I didn't do a very good job making my funnel, as you can tell. I'm just going to pour that back in and try again. I didn't leave enough of an opening that first time. There we go. Okay. And again, you're going to cover it with your thumb and shake it all around. To make sure you get a good and full coverage. And if you've dripped it enough, you don't have to worry about there being poly mixed into the glitter. So I just dump it right back into my container and give it a good shake side to side. You can see it's got nice full coverage, nothing clumped and fell off. And then I will just sit that upright on top of a cup for about 24 hours before I use it for anything else, just to make sure it's good and dry. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, well, the second small one is still dripping, so I'm not going to use that one quite yet. So I'm going to switch colors a minute. I'm going to put the top back on that one and set it with its paper. The paper underneath, you can see I am spilling on a little bit. That's why I have it there. I'll go ahead and do the purple. The purple is going to turn into a unicorn ornament. So this was the first of the big ones I did. It is no longer actively dripping, so it is ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and let this one drain into one of the smaller cups. Just let it prop up, and I'll let them one by one drip into one cup and then drain that cup into the bigger container. So I'm going to fold my funnel and make it bigger. If it's easier for you, you can put a piece of Scotch tape along there to hold its shape. And I may do that. I don't like to use actual funnels for the glitter because you can't, you don't want to rinse them down your drains with glitter in them. The paper funnels you can just toss. So that one I just put a little ring of Scotch tape on. That way it makes it easier to hold. Like I said, just pour a bunch in. You're not going to waste it, so you'd rather have too much in there to begin with than not enough. And again, just swish it around until it is full. And I moved my thumb a little too soon, so, but again, tap and drain. And same thing with these. I'm just going to misshape them a little bit just so that it holds upright to dry. And seal your glitter. I am done with that one, so that one can get put back on the shelf. Let's see. This one looks ready. I do keep these cups. I let the poly dry on them, and then I can reuse them the next time I go to Glitter Ornaments rather than wasting cups. Again, shape your funnels. And if you're going to do a ton of the same color, you can save the little bits of paper and everything. Even the glitter cups I will save. There are certain ornaments that I will end up doing several of throughout the season, so and then some of them I will just do a one-off project. Shake it out. Clean cup. Drop it in and set it aside. If you get a little bare spot, it'll really be okay, especially if you're putting some kind of decal on it. You can try and decal over the bare spots and sort of hide them. It makes life simpler. So I've still got quite a bit off to that one side. So I'm going to use this green. This is one of those colors that I use a ton of. You may feel like you're using a lot of glitter, but it really isn't that much. Okay, got my funnel ready for the green. Set it down because I am using it again. Now the glitter I won't try and directly transfer into the next ornament. That I will pour back into the container each and every time. Into the cup. On to the next one. Shake it out. This one does have a couple of drips on the inside, but hopefully they're not too big to hold. And these do get decals on both sides, this particular ornament, so it's not that big a deal if it does not cover a little bit. You really can't, when you do the poly, do a second coat. It just doesn't work. So don't even attempt that. If I poured poly in one of these, it would eat the glitter right back off and you'd have a hot mess on your hands. If you find you have a spot that you missed badly, you can try using an adhesive spray. Just give it a tiny spritz on the inside. That sometimes works, but I mean a tiny spritz. Like, don't go to town spraying. But that is your best bet for a fix in the event you make a mistake. You'll find all kinds of other methods of doing this. People who use the mop and glow and things like that. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think it lasts long term. So I just don't do it that way. This is my preferred method. This is tried and true tested. Have ornaments from years ago that are still good. So in the coming days, these will be getting turned into assorted styles of ornaments. And I will be putting the videos up as I go. So this was just a basic 101 on glittering. And set it in the cup. Put the top back on. Now I do want to show you, and I'll take care of the rest of these cups of poly off camera. But this is why I don't just throw them away, because it does end up being quite a bit. I mean, there's enough in there that I could do 2 more cups. Plus I have those 3 to finish off. So a little tiny thing of poly will get you through a ton of ornaments, and 1 thing of glitter is going to get you through a ton of ornaments. So I do want to mention that I'm going to grab a fresh white piece of paper, because some of them I did and some of them I did not. If you don't tap your ornaments out again after it's dry, the excess loose glitter, I don't know if you can see that, I'll bring it up closer. The excess loose glitter will come out the top like a salt and pepper shaker. So before you put your tops back on, flip them over a paper or a cup and give them a good tap. You may still get some shed, but at least it won't be a ton of shed. It's something I didn't know when I first started doing these, and some of these are old. So it's just something I didn't realize until I'd had them done and was taking them down at the end of a season, and they were shedding on everything. So just something to be aware of. But that is the basic mechanics of a glittered Christmas bulb. Again, glass or plastic. If you use an iridescent bulb, you will get an iridescent effect over the glitter. They do work, they come out beautiful, but you're not just going to have the glitter color. You're going to have an iridescent look. So be aware of that. And that is it. Thanks for watching. And